And what has been dubbed the single biggest deal signed since the start of the 2021 edition of the Intra-African Trade Fair in Durban, South Africa, Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation has signed a deal worth just over $1 billion with Afreximbank. Project BOASON is a 5-year finance facility which seeks to boost the Nigerian oil industry. A similar deal was also signed with Nigeria's Mars exploration worth $270 million. Nigeria's airport's capacity is also set to be supported by the letter of understanding signed with Blue Horn Aviation. For more information on what all these deals mean to Nigeria, let's bring in our Rise business correspondent, BOASON OMOFAYE, who joins us from Durban. BOASON, tell us about this Project BOASON, the single largest transaction or deal since the start of the Intra-African Trade Fair this year. What can Nigerians expect?
Well, thank you very much, Aaron. And of course, this deal, which was signed just about less than an hour ago, was actually a 5-year deal between Nigeria State Oil Corporation, as you said earlier, the NNPC, and the Afreximbank, the Africa Export-Import Bank. Basically, what Afrexim does is to do what you call trade finance. So it's not about exploration, it's not about production, it's about export of Nigeria's crude. We're looking forward to further details of this, but what we know at the signing event was that this $1.04 billion will be repaid to the Afreximbank via accrued 25,000 barrels of oil. Nigeria oil is what will be used by the NNPC to refund Afreximbank for this fund. We're looking forward to more. Afreximbank President Dr. Benedict Rama says this deal will benefit Nigeria, it will benefit Nigerians, and the NNPC and the Trade Finance Organization, which is a DFI based in Cairo, Egypt, that is Afreximbank, will continue to fund similar projects for fossil fuel, not just in Nigeria, in Angola and every other country on the continent. Aaron.
BOASON, how will this support other African oil exporters?
Well, right now, Africa is moving on looking for investment funds everywhere they can find it, not just in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Angola, with Sonangol, for example. Other countries are still digging for oil. Cote d'Ivoire, for example. South Africa is looking at a hydrocarbon off the coast of South Africa, for example. In West Africa, you have a few other oil producers. In East Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, there are oil and gas projects still going on. North of the continent is the same between Egypt and Libya, Morocco as well. So hydrocarbon business will remain here. Fossil fuel will still remain here for some time. What experts are saying is that, look, the world needs to be patient with Africa and allow the continent to find its own path to what you call the energy transition, which is the climate, the green energy that the world is talking about, moving away from dirty fuel to clean energy. So one of the top officials of Oando, which is a private E&P company in Nigeria, was on a panel which spoke about the fourth industrial revolution just about an hour ago as well, after the signing of those deals. And he says, look, Africa needs to be allowed to find its own path. We cannot, of course, play one form of energy over the other. So right now, Africa is forming what you can call a common front in ensuring that, look, the continent should not be stampeded into this transition by 2050. Africa is looking at its own agenda of 2063. President Buhari spoke about Nigeria's energy transition the year 2060, which is just about 10 years ahead of what COP26 decided upon this a few days ago. So the race for fossil fuel will still be there on the African continent. OPEC also spoke similarly. Demand for fossil fuel, petrol, diesel, whatever, will still be on the continent. In the automotive industry, still on the continent, that is still emerging moving forward. Back to you, Awa.
Okay, now talk to us. In the recent aftermath of COP26 summit, should we be surprised Afreximbank is financing fossil fuel?
Well, you shouldn't be surprised, because fossil fuel is still part of intra-Africa trade. If you, for example, most of the mining industries in Burkina Faso get their diesel, which power those mines in Burkina Faso all the way from Ghana, from Tema Community 7 around the refinery in Accra, all the way being driven by trucks across the desert, across the country, all the way to Burkina Faso, for example. So there's a whole lot more that we will do But again, Africa still needs a whole lot of financing. These investments are beginning to trickle down a little bit from the big names in the global oil and gas industry who are now moving away because of pressure from banks, from shareholders, from other interest groups around the world. So Afreximbank will continue, according to Benedict Torama, will continue to stand by African countries, African oil producers under the APPO, which is the African Petroleum Producers Organization, the version of OPEC for the continent, in supporting whatever they need moving forward in still drilling for fossil fuel energy.
Now, there's also that letter of interest from Afreximbank that they signed with Blue Horn Aviation and Logistics, worth about $250 million to build 3 airports in Nigeria. Now, is this what our President Buhari meant when he spoke about ramping up infrastructure?
Oh, yes, you're talking about the aviation and logistics, Blue Horn. But just quickly to add that there was also the mass exploration E&P deal of $270 million, which is to fund operations in Nigeria, which was also signed, which is the second deal also for Nigeria. So if you add the $1.04 billion of NNPC to the $270 million, then you talk about another $250 million US. Actually, what this particular company is doing is to bid for for the upgrade of 3 Nigerian airports, not actually to build new ones, but to upgrade the existing one. Remember, the facility of the international airports in Lagos is still being done, so quite some of these are yet to be fully reopened. The country is looking to upgrade a number of its airports. So that means there's a need for funding. Now, this particular company, Bullhorn Aviation and Logistics, is part of those who are bidding for this transaction with the Nigerian government. It's sourcing this $250 million from Afreximbank to be able to position itself for this deal when it's formally announced by the Nigerian government for the rehabilitation of 3 of Nigeria's airports.
Now, a deal worth $270 million has also just been signed by Afreximbank and Mars Exploration. What does this mean for the oil and gas industry here in Nigeria?
Yes, I was just talking about that with our $274 million for exploration E&P. Nigeria is still looking for investments in deep water, a bit of this in the shallow waters, what they call marginal fields, as it were. $270 million for this particular company to still go into Nigeria's waters to dig for crude oil. It's still part of what the NNPC want. It's part of what Nigeria wants. We can use as much investments as we can within the energy industry, which Nigeria is still Africa's largest oil and gas producer. So to fund these operations for mass exploration and production company, which is one of the oil companies doing business in Nigeria, is part of what Nigeria is looking at as part of investments that is sorely needed in that particular sector. So E&P, which is the upstream sector, will still play a major role moving forward. Nigeria is not stepping back on fossil fuel exploration, production, refining capabilities, petrochemicals, not anytime soon. Those investments are still much sorely needed, Aaron.
So it's just day 2 of this inter-African trade fair, Mr. OMOFAYE. Anything else that we should be expecting?
Well, perhaps you should be expecting an electric car vehicle, by the way. But again, the automotive discussion is going on today. We're looking at, but to be pretty very serious, there's a whole lot being done. For example, there was another deal signed, which is with the Smart Africa Alliance and Afreximbank. This is actually a memorandum of understanding for the digitalization of Africa, digital information, digital space, digital identity for the continent. Remember, this is not just about what you call the third industrial revolution of industrial manufacturing, whatever, but it's all about the 4th industrial revolution, which goes into digital space, technology, science and technology. So everyone you find speaking on panels across today's and tomorrow will be talking more about bringing digital conversation to the entire industrialization of the continent in the manner of speaking moving forward. So that's got to be part of it. Agriculture is also in discussion today. The beneficiation of the entire value chain, which is very critical for Africa's small and medium enterprises in terms of those products, agro-allied, that we can start to finish with the raw materials here. We've heard being said that Africa should no longer be a transition continent for which finished products in Europe, in Asia, or in East Asia would just transit. So Africa should no longer be a dumping ground, as President Ramaphosa, the South African president, says yesterday in his welcome remarks. So this now is bringing today automotive and talking about the agriculture sector. But also important today, we're looking at the country day for Egypt, which is one of Africa's most advanced and industrialized economy on the continent.
I want to say many thanks to you, BOASON OMOFAYE, our rice correspondent at the IATF 2021 in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. Thank you very much.